What does death mean? Really simply put, death is the end of life. It's it's a passing over, I think, to another plane, but I can't explain that.
I think that death is something that is ever present in our lives.
What does death mean to me? I don't know yet.
We have become a death-fearing society. We weren't always that way. If you go and look at old cemeteries, particularly in New England, Connecticut, Massachusetts, they were garden spots. There's benches there. There's places where people would sit. And I'm not sure if the idea was to commune with the dead or pay your respects to them. And we know other societies don't fear death, they celebrate it. Day of the Dead in Hispanic societies. So I think we've become a death-fearing society, and that kind of ties in with one of the other questions I know you're going to ask.
I feel that society does fear death, although society, according to research, fears public speaking more than it fears death, which is one of the reasons I love teaching public speaking, because so far, knock on wood, I haven't lost a student in public speaking yet, and it's not as bad as death. You can get through it. It will end.
We need to embrace it. I mean, and that is the proper attitude to have towards death, is to embrace it somehow. And there's different ways to embrace it. I think Halloween is one way to embrace it. All Souls Day in Mexico, The Day of the Dead by Octavio Paz. If you've ever read that, that's just a mwah. Oh, those Spanish writers, I love those guys. They're really good. Anyway, but the Day of the Dead, that you celebrate the dead. I mean, and you celebrate the dead as people who are familial members, and that's the proper attitude.
I think we should be direct about it. I don't believe in covering it up. I don't believe in masking it. I don't believe in using euphemisms. I almost died myself about 3 years ago, and it took quite a while. And as I sat there, I realized that I really wasn't afraid of it. The other thing I found out was that some people have some sort of epiphany. Oh, I'm going to die. I'm going to be a good person now. Nah, I was the same person I always. That would be disingenuous. So I was just going to be the same miserable person that I always was.
Death is something that is hard for a lot of people to talk about, because there is so much fear around it, and people have such reactions to death. Of course, the grieving process is different for all of us, and we all grieve in different ways. But also, some people like funerals because they allow them to say goodbye to someone who has died. Other people avoid funerals.
How should one approach the subject of death? Very carefully. Multiculturally, yeah, with the global sensibility of looking at different aspects of it. You get caught up in your own. Well, any one of those is wrong, but you get different ideas on it when you do several different phrases on it there.
Probably the Hindu view, just of creation and death and the cycle, right, as represented by Shiva. There's never any complete destruction. See, that's the point. There's no end, because if there's a complete end, there can never be a new beginning or a rebirth.
I guess for me, the most interesting view of death is the thought of reincarnation, and being reincarnated in some other form. That is interesting to me, and I know a large number of people believe in it very, very much, And so it might be what happens to the energy, the spirit within us. And that's interesting to me. It's interesting to me to think about, if that's true, then what other incarnations of me, incarnations were there? Like, what was I?
I like that reincarnating with the same 500 folks over and over again. I think I'll go for just it's the most interesting. Thinking of it, you as an individual going through is a real disconnect from the way the universe is actually operating, okay? Nobody's all alone here. And that rugged individualism as a spirit is really absurd. The Lone Ranger, right? At least he had his Tonto. So,
Cameras.
oh, yeah, we
Yeah.
forgot to do that.
I realized I didn't do that. But
Yeah, well, we're all going to be dead sometime, so we better record this for posterity. No, and I like the joke about the that you go to heaven and here's the Buddhists and here's the Muslims and here's this. Shh, these are the Baptists. They think they're the only people here.
That's good.
You know?